Welcome back to Dummy Boy Finance. I'm Dummy Boy, and in this video I want to go over WorkHorse stock because I know a lot of you guys are still curious about my WorkHorse position, so I want to go over that right now. So today WorkHorse filed a formal complaint regarding their USPS contract. So there isn't too much information that is kind of given out in this article. We hear that as previously disclosed on February 23rd, the USPS issued a press release announcing that it had made an award under the NGDV contract. The details can be found here, so let's click on those, see what their details are saying here. This is the article where we actually see the details about the contract. I don't really want to go over this, but the one thing that I do want to mention from this is that Oshkosh Defense will finalize the design of the next generation delivery vehicle, the NGDV, delivering up to 165,000 of the US built vehicles over the next decade. So one thing I want to mention about Oshkosh Defense is that this is not a pure electric vehicle that this company is going to make. It's going to be an ICE combustion with maybe a hybrid model, so it's not going to be fully electric. And as the decade progresses, we're going to have a lot more incentives for fully automated green vehicles as we start to wean out our ICE combustion vehicles. And so personally, when I just look at the information and what Oshkosh has to offer as well as what WorkHorse has to offer, I really like the fact that WorkHorse is giving you guys a fully electric vehicle, which would reduce the carbon footprint of America in general when it's very desperately needed in a time where we start to focus on climate change. Also, I want to mention that this contract is the first part of a multi-billion-dollar 10-year effort to replace the Postal Service's vehicle and one of the world's largest. So right now, this is a huge contract that a lot of people were anticipating WorkHorse is going to get. So the fact that they have not forgot about this and they are still trying to figure out if they could still somehow roll back this contract. And so this complaint isn't really the biggest deal in my opinion. They didn't get the contract in the first place, so they really don't have anything to lose in this situation. If somehow they can actually get something out of this contract, that would only mean more catalysts that will help propel WorkHorse's share price up. But there's really nothing to lose in this situation unless the fees to get the lawyers and whatever else to gather this complaint is going to be taken out of shareholders' pockets. And so overall, I think this is a no-lose situation for WorkHorse. They already didn't get the contract, so they can't not get it twice. So this complaint is just going to help navigate us, maybe give us a little bit more hope that we could potentially get at least some portion of that contract at some point in time in the decade that they are mentioning. And so right now we're looking at WorkHorse on the daily time frame. Still had a pretty nice day of 5% after hours. We are up, but there are a couple things that I do want to mention because I want to be as objective as possible. So when we look at this point in time right here, so this right here is our accumulation over distribution. And so when this line goes higher, people are accumulating the stock. When this line goes lower, people are distributing. And so we have clear divergence right here. As the share price was going up, people were actually selling their shares here in WorkHorse. And so I am not one of those individuals who are selling, but I do want to make notice for those of you who are looking at this stock that this could go lower because people are selling. And so I still do believe we will get a back test eventually on our 50-day SMA. And at this point, if we can hold this as a last level of support, I will continue to add on this line because I do believe we are at pretty nice, attractive prices for not only just general upside, but overall, if we continue to squeeze out these hedge funds, this is a very attractive price. And so I already have WorkHorse getting back up to about $31. Can't tell you when it's going to happen, but this is a pretty major gap that needs to be filled to the upside. The only way this does not get filled is if this company goes absolutely bankrupt and their stock price just goes to zero and they get wiped off the market in whole. And so I've never really experienced that happen. I've never seen a stock go to zero. And so I don't expect anything to be any different in this situation. I believe that as the future progresses towards green technology, WorkHorse will have some sort of market share, and we're trading at near $1 billion market cap. And so I do think over the years this will grow and this will somehow figure out a way to utilize their technology in society. And so there's a couple ways you can navigate your play here with WorkHorse. So you have your long-term investors who believe in the fundamentals of the company, who believe in the progression of WorkHorse, and then you have those individuals who believe in the short squeeze, who are also doing the same thing. have to have a long-term outlook. You have to buy and hold and be patient through the swings. Then you have our day traders who are trying to capitalize on this squeeze momentum to try to milk out their call options. And so that is probably my least favorite way to play this, just because I believe there's a lot of wealth that could be created for a diverse amount of people. And so when you're looking at a small retail investor, we could have thousands of people make tons of money compared to one person making a lot of money off some call options. So if a lot of people understood the process, just buy and hold their shares, this stock could go crazy at some point in time. And so simply by just buying and holding the stock, you are looking at a pretty attractive valuation. Again, we had our death cross back here in April. We dropped all the way down here till about $7. And so we have been starting our uptrend. We could potentially get stomped out. We did get stomped out right here by our 100-day SMA. However, that is not the worst case scenario. I do think we are starting to build up our momentum before we squeeze, which I actually like to see. If we can start to get some more higher lows set into place, then I do think at one point in time we will have a massive squeeze that could bring us above this $31 line. And so at this point, there isn't too much concern here in WorkHorse. It was nice to see that the company is filing a complaint. We'll see if anything comes out of it, but we don't lose anything by actually just posting that. And so overall, we had a strong day. We have been hovering around this range for a while. If you are still looking at WorkHorse, look for a back test of support here on our 50-day SMA. I'm not guaranteeing that we get to that level, but there is a high probability because there is a slight gap here that we need to fill. As well, we'd love to see a back test of this line to see if our momentum can withhold another leg up. And so if you guys enjoyed this video on WorkHorse, don't forget to like. We are on the road to 10K subs, so if you made it to this point, feel free to hit that subscription button. This is Dummy Boy Finance. I'm Dummy Boy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.